The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks very much for watching us from around the planet. I appreciate you. I am coming to you, as you know, from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain of the United States, right between the two shining seashores, ladies and gentlemen. Today, strength versus weakness. The Communist Socialist Party wants you to be weak. They have a full frontal assault on masculinity and strength in this republic on purpose. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. Through your weakness, they gain control. Strength is the antidote. And do you know who possesses strength, who they want to silence the most? Clearly you and me and we the people. They want to silence all of us. But the person they're after the most? President Trump, because he is strong, virtuous, and with character. I'll talk about that in depth today on the program. Also, my friend John Rich. I had the honor of going to Nashville and talking and meeting with him at his home, Mount Richmore. You're going to like the chat with John Rich on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Side with Doug Billings is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right Side with Doug Billings, Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thank you for joining us from around the planet. I appreciate you. We are over here. We are endeavoring to do what you're doing, saving the country from the Communist Socialist threat. The Communist Socialist Party is not a pro-America political party. They're about weakness. They're about making you weak, making the country weak, and we are not having any of it. Strength versus weakness, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to think about this with me for a while today. We live in a time where the radical left is doing everything they can to diminish strength, to diminish masculinity. They want to water down, if not wipe out, the traditional male role in society. A man cannot be the leader of a household, ladies and gentlemen. A man cannot be the leader of a society because men are systemically racist. We have, especially if you're white, oh my gosh, then you've got white privilege, the mythical, intellectually immature concept of white privilege. Weakness is in fashion with the liberal left, my friends. Weakness. You can't show strength because strength is offensive. Strength is racist. Strength demonstrates prejudice. Strength is immoral. Strength is wrong to the radical liberal mindset. And the bullseye for their attack on society is masculinity. Case in point, the attack of women. In women's sports, they use masculinity to attack women because they allow a man to compete in women's sports. And if you speak up against any of that, if you somehow make a case that men competing against women is immoral, it's wrong, or simply crazy, the radical left will crucify you. They will excommunicate you. And they will try to eliminate your voice from whatever debate and whatever platform you may be on. They will exile you no matter where you are. They will exile you from the public square of any conversation. Another case in point, when we talk about the attack of masculinity, the attack of strength by the radical left, the Communist Socialist Party, is President Trump. President Trump is, by virtue of his own personality, his own character, strong. He's had to be in his life to overcome so much, right? To overcome the obstacles that were in front of him in his business world, to overcome obstacles in his political life. My gosh, those are well documented, and still fresh in our memory. We all know them well. And he usually always wins because of his strength. I don't know much about what you think of him with regards to his former life as a billionaire playboy from New York, building buildings, making deals, writing books, The Art of the Deal, and etc. But I do know this. I believe that God plucked him away from all of that and put him into this service, this office, this presidency at this moment in time, in this moment in history, much like King David was called. And so what the man was before is irrelevant to what the man is now. Individual strength is to a liberal like a crucifix to a vampire in a lot of ways. If you demonstrate strength of character, strength of mind, strength of attitude, strength of character, if you have strength of Christian fortitude, you're a threat to the Communist Socialist Party of America, which is not a pro-America political party. The Communist Socialist Party, ladies and gentlemen, there's no way that they are a pro-America party. And I know that you know that. When we demonstrate a love of America and patriotism rooted in the founders' intent for this republic, we are a threat to the Communist Socialist Party, and they're going to go to great lengths to persecute us if we stand up for those beliefs. Look at the people that took part in the peaceful protests at the Capitol on January 6th. Now, there were some people in there that did some stupid things, and they should pay a price. But the vast majority of those people were there to simply pray and to give support to President Trump. They gathered peacefully and many times simply prayed on those steps of the Capitol in numbers vast and magnificent. Coy Griffin, a friend of mine, was there. He'll be on the show here in the next day or so. All he did was pray in front of thousands and thousands of people, and he's been persecuted by the federal government because he dared to demonstrate his version of strength and patriotism. Lock him up. He's a threat to the state. That's why all of those people that took part on January 6th are being locked up, because they are an existential threat to the Communist Socialist Party. President Trump continues to go through persecutions because he is the primary threat. He's at the top of the list, so he's going to go through even more persecution. They're going to do everything they can to prevent the man from running for president again in 2024. President Trump is, by his very nature, a strong individual. His character is strong. His fortitude is strong. His charisma is strong. And he can take this. He can win. And God knows it. So do we. Strengthened by his very nature and looking at what strength means to all of us, strength calls forth us to admit that we have to win. If we're strong, we know that we have to win. Strength, by its nature, demands that we stand up for our beliefs, even if those beliefs are faced and met with what seems like unsurmountable odds, adversities, challenges, tragedies, and that we see the blessings that are waiting for us once we get through all of those events. Blessings waiting to be born, my friends. Give yourselves permission to believe it. Strength is, by its very nature and design, it means that we call out weakness, that we identify it, and that we either eliminate it or we help it become stronger. We who are strong only help anybody by enabling them to also be strong. We don't help by enabling the weak to continue to be weak. The Communist Socialist Party wants to keep you weak. And they do this primarily by giving you entitlements. Oh, they claim that this free stuff, these free things, builds up your human dignity, makes you a better person. But they don't. In fact, all of those things rob you of your human dignity and destroys human dignity. Giving people entitlements only creates one thing, ladies and gentlemen: slaves. You're slaves to their entitlements. You're slaves to their politics. You are slaves to their policies. You become slaves to their government. You become slaves to the state once you take hold and you're addicted to those entitlements. And that's what they are hoping for. Admittedly, to some people out there, the characteristics of strength are abrasive or appalling. The people who believe that are weak, and we need to help them become strong. Becoming strong means looking at the state of play in America and realizing that evidence of the obvious is sufficient. And this evidence, such as put forth by the Communist Socialist Party in America, this evidence is a long, clear list of chaos. The border is chaos. Shipping and logistics issues are chaos. Gas prices are chaos. Energy independence is now chaos. The debacle in Afghanistan, chaos. Inflation, chaos. The cost of housing, chaos. The cost of food, chaos. Unconstitutional shutdowns, chaos. The wreckage of economies, chaos. The wreckage of your school and your child's school experience, chaos. Unconstitutional mandates, chaos. Getting fired for jobs because you won't participate in unconstitutional jabs, chaos. Chaos is their patron demon, ladies and gentlemen, and they put him forth often, and he is at play in the American Republic today. But all of it, I want you to know, all of that chaos is not accidental, it's purposeful. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient, ladies and gentlemen. The Communist Socialist Party of America, which is not a pro-America political party, they want chaos. It's one of the reasons they release prisoners early for violent crimes, or they don't prosecute them to the full extent of the law, because they want this violence to continue. President Trump stands for strength. Strength is the antithesis. It's the nemesis of the Communist Socialist Party. They need you to be weak to control you. President Trump is not, and they can't control him. Strength eliminates chaos. My friends, they do want you to be weak, but if you demonstrate strength, if you speak your mind, if you speak out against them, if you offer a different opinion about what they put forth, we will rise up. This is how we take back our republic. I know that they might try to arrest you. I know that you may be excommunicated. I know that you will be silenced if they have their way. But in whatever way you can, speak up. Become the patriots of this era, of this day. And that means that we engage in determined prayer and determined patriotism. We do the hard work of it all. When is the last time you've heard of anybody being locked up because of their participation in a radical left-wing exercise of free speech? When have you ever heard about high-ranking government officials being persecuted, searched, and seized upon by the Department of Justice and the FBI when the Republican Party was in charge? The answer is likely never. You've never heard of those things. President Trump is strength. And ladies and gentlemen, so are you. So are you. Communist socialism is weakness. In his own words, whenever you hear President Trump talk, he is strong. He has confidence. He's self-assured. He's a man that was called to be president at this time and this hour and this point in history in America. Communist socialists would lock people up for what President Trump stands for, and they're trying to do that to him today. They would lock people up for exercising a right to pray on the steps of the Capitol on a January 6th afternoon. Being strong, being a winner, being self-confident, it's a virtue, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all virtues. It is not a sin to be strong, to be a winner, to be self-confident. It's not a sin. But in the woke mentality of the American far left, they will disparage you if you demonstrate any kind, if you verbalize any self-confidence, if you dare to presume that you have the intellectual capital to see yourself through without taking entitlements or without becoming a slave to the state, you will be smeared. You will be shut down, and you cannot outvoice the state. That's their opinion. That's what they would do. They would try to smear you. They would try to silence you. The state must be triumphant, after all, in their opinion. The state is supreme. All else, according to them, is secondary. This is why they're afraid of Trump. This is why they're going to unprecedented and unconstitutional lengths to remove him from any possibility of ever being again to run again for any political office. Every time they act out, ladies and gentlemen, every time they put forth their policies, their platform, their politics, they lose. Because millions of Americans wake up and see the ridiculousness of everything they stand for. They see the illegality of it all, the tyranny of it all, and this is why we're going to prevail. You want to know how to beat the Communist Socialist Party, ladies and gentlemen, at their own game? Here's the answer. How to defeat them? Let them speak out often and loudly. Let them act out profoundly. Let them pursue and carry out acts of tyranny, just as they did at Mar-a-Lago and with the January 6th Commission. Let them put forth their politics and their policies, their procedures. Because every time they do those things, they lose. They lose millions of American people. When the American people see their politics, their policies, and the platform of the Communist Socialist Party, Americans see those acts as tyranny, and they're not stupid. And millions of American people, by virtue of seeing all of these things, are leaving the Communist Socialist Party in millions and millions of numbers. The irony of ironies is that the Communist Socialist Party is bringing about that which we so much deserve and what we're striving for in this republic, and what we, on the Clay Clark Reawaken America tours, are pursuing, the great reawakening of America. Believe it or not, the Communist Socialist Party themselves is helping to usher that in, because people see what they're doing. People understand that what they are looking at is evidence of the obvious, purposeful chaos and the destruction of the American Republic. It's them, the Communist Socialist Party, who are waking up millions upon millions of people when they demonstrate their politics, their policies, and their platform. Their actions, their crimes, along with their complicit allies in the mainstream media, by the way, they are waking up millions of people. Every time they put forth a false, hysterical story about President Trump and ignore a factual, real story about Hunter Biden, they wake up millions of people. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold fast. Hold fast and be strong out there today. Do what you can at your local level. Please take control of your strength through your virtue of character, through your involvement and your dedication to the Republic at your local community. Because when we take control of the local community, we gain the national community. It becomes ours. We reclaim the Republic. People are drawn to leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Be the leader whom you seek. People are drawn to strength. Be the strong person who you see. People are drawn to truth and honesty. People are drawn to President Trump. And that is the bane of the Communist Socialist Party. Not because they're not drawn to him because of his tweets or his posts on Truth Social. That is a part of it. We're drawn to him because of the characteristics of his personality, his confidence in himself. We're drawn to the fact that he's resilient and that he shows strength. And of course, I think primarily we are drawn to President Trump because he loves America. Loving America is what we are all about. It's not prejudice to say that America is the shining light on the hill. It's not an ego statement to say that America is the best place to fulfill personal dreams of freedom and liberty. These are facts. They're not platitudes, not ego statements. And people are drawn to these facts. People are drawn to freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course they are. People are drawn to the ability to live and work and build relationships in a republic where the discovery of wonder, joy, and meaning in life is made possible, not only by our own hard work and our own virtue, but because God himself wants it to be so. Hope? Yes, hope abounds. It's everywhere. Don't be one that defaults to the negative. Force yourself, if nothing else, and convince yourself that there is hope around it, that you can default to the positive. We're surrounded by hope. We're surrounded by potential. We are America. Hope resides within us. We, the people. We are the plan to discover the pursuit of life, the pursuit of liberty and happiness. We're the plan to finally discover the wonder, the joy, and the meaning as put forth and prescribed in our founding documents that were written by men and inspired by God, because he too, and he primarily, wants you to discover the wonder, the joy, the meaning, the liberty, the happiness that this republic was intended to bring you. Our hope doesn't reside, ladies and gentlemen, our hope does not reside in executive orders or in the military. Our hope has always dwelt within us, for within us lives the Spirit of God. We are the people of God. Within us, the Spirit of God stirs and draws us towards life. The Spirit of God draws us towards liberty, and the Spirit of God draws us to the pursuit of happiness. And by the way, the Spirit of God himself inspires us to the acquisition of wonder and joy and meaning in this life. This is the hope by which we will see 2022 bring forth to us a seismic shift in power in Washington, D.C. And this is the hope that will bring forth to us conservatives the White House in 2024. My friends, give yourselves permission to believe this. You are the plan. You are the white hats that are coming in to save the day by virtue of your actions, by virtue of your involvement. We will win if we do that. This is the truth, the real truth. The truth that you've wanted has been there in front of you and within you the entire time. It's the bedrock of this republic, and it's not something new. It's been there since our founding. We just have to rediscover it again. We have to rediscover it within us. We the people, our involvement, our determined prayer, our determined patriotism. Determined patriotism is doing the hard work of it all. President Trump knows this, and that's why they want him out. But our countermeasures to all of their evil. The Communist Socialist Party is a coalition of immorality. We are called to default to the positive, to work hard for the positive. This is what I mean by determined patriotism. This is a nation that was designed, inspired, and created by God himself to be a nation that gives us the ability to find God, to find the rewards of the pursuit of life, liberty, happiness, wonder, joy, and meaning. It was intended that way. God was intended to be part of the fabric of this society. This is the hope that lies within you, so please grasp a hold of it. Hold it tightly. We will reclaim this republic that God has given us. The founders knew it. They prescribed it. They wrote it down. We have the recipe. We have the plan. The founders, because they were inspired by the divine providence of God, they knew full well that God wanted it to be so, to be present in the society, in the schools, in our justice system. We are the stewards and the leaders, the managers of this republic, my friends, and we will usher in back to our society the divine providence of God in such a way that has never been seen before in this world or this republic, and that includes during the time of the founding fathers. Give yourselves, again, permission to believe this. The hope is there, ladies and gentlemen. It is a real hope because that reality is within you. It doesn't sit on a desk or in a drawer written down on some executive order, and it does not exist within the realm of the military. Neither of those two items are true and hopeful. The real truth, the real plan, the real exercise, and the recapture of our republic resides within you. It always has, and it always will. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen. For the republic, cheers. I'll be right back with my interview with my friend John Rich. Stay with me.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Everybody, welcome to the set of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I am now less, and less is more. Since August 1st, I'm down 62 pounds, and now here we are well after Christmas, and I want to share this with you. I feel called to share it with you. I think that we all need to be the best version of ourselves if we're going to engage in the fight to save this republic from the grips of communism. And so I want to talk to you today about the right side of health. Send your name and ask for information about how I lost 62 pounds since August. Text your name to 913-428-0777. 913-428-0777. Or if you'd like, go to www.rightsidehealth.us. rightsidehealth.us. Both will get you to the place you need to be. Look at these before and after pictures that have been up there. Unbelievable. I had to get there before I got here. And so if you're faced with that kind of before situation, there is an after, and it's right there at the right side of health. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Cheers. Holy Hydrogen, everybody. Holyhydrogen.com, promo code Doug, $100 off. Why? Molecular hydrogen, hydrogen gas infused water from a machine no larger than an average coffee maker, right there on your countertop in your kitchen. I use it. It helps. Diabetes, it helps. Cancer cells even been shown to be reduced by hydrogen gas. It also helps with brain fog. You have inflammation. It helps reduce the inflammation in your body. Weight loss is enhanced and expedited. Just a number of things that even has been shown in some cases to help recover from the side effects of the jab. Molecular hydrogen, hydrogen gas infused water from Holy Hydrogen. They have a customer service department. They have a payment plan. Holyhydrogen.com, promo code Doug for $100 off, ladies and gentlemen. Get the benefits of molecular hydrogen today. Cheers. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, The Right Side. I'm Doug Billings. Hey, if you're looking for a web application, custom web development for your business, the Blaze team, ladies and gentlemen, the Blaze team can do it. They've got a team of highly skilled engineers, graphic designers, graphic artists, developers. They can tackle any project, no matter how big, no matter how small. They specialize in new websites, custom web applications. They can handle Android or iOS applications. Whatever your development needs are, the Blaze team has the skill to produce them. Absolutely so. The Blaze team also heavily involved into blockchain development, such as smart contracts, and they work with machine learning applications, big data, business intelligence systems. They can help you. If there's a web development platform that interests you, chances are that the Blaze team has skills in creating it. When you choose the Blaze team, you get the entire package, my friends, from creation to setup to the all-important hosting on servers that can't be touched. They won't be able to shut you down. The Blaze team, you want to reach them? Head over to www.blaze.team, www.blaze.team. Now, over there, they'll have a form that asks the question, how did you hear about us? Please type in Doug or the right side. One of those two things. That's how you heard about them. And you're going to be happy that you heard about them. From Doug Billings right here on the right side, www.blaze.team. Or if you want to email them, their email address is reach@blaze.team. Reach@blaze.team for an email. Same thing. Hey, I heard about you on the right side. I heard about you from Doug Billings. You'll get discounts and perks galore. The Blaze team, they're in it for you. They've got your backs just like I do. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Strength versus weakness. I want you to consider that. Have hope in reality. Have hope in what is real, that the power to reclaim this republic lies within you. I also want to tell you about EMP Shield, electromagnetic pulse, ladies and gentlemen, that can come from the sun. It can also come from people who don't like us. They can cause these electromagnetic pulses, and it can destroy electrical grids. Your power in your home, for example, could be fried. Your vehicle, your automobile, fried, won't work anymore. But the folks at EMP Shield have this device that will attach to your breaker box in your home or on your car. It will prevent the damage to your electrical grid by virtue of electromagnetic pulses that may occur. Don't be caught off guard. These things are not expensive. Go to empshield.com, empshield.com. Use the promo code Doug and get huge discounts over there. empshield.com, a small, simple device to install on your home breaker box and on your car battery. to save you in the event of an attack by people who just don't like us. Ladies and gentlemen, one person who does like us, and one person who I had the privilege and the honor of sitting down with last week, is John Rich. You know, Big and Rich, right? You know. Hey, he is one of the many celebrities who are becoming brave and standing up for liberty, happiness, the pursuit of those virtues, and for the Republic in general. And they are standing up. John is especially standing up to the industry that made him a celebrity. And he's calling them out. He's standing for the truth. We're going to take a look at and a listen to his latest song that shot straight to #1, Progress. All of that part of the show in the interview today with my friend John Rich. We sat down with him last week. Here's a look at that interview. I hope you enjoy it. God bless you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks for joining us from around the planet. We appreciate you. I'm coming to you from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain of the United States of America, coming to you where we point out over here the intellectual immaturity of liberals, and it's abundant these days. I'm not going to talk a lot about the intro monologue here today. We're going to do that later after our first guest, who has been someone who I've been trying to get on the show for a while now. We met online about 6-7 months, maybe inside of a year now, approximately, just online on social media. And I had the honor and the pleasure of meeting him in Nashville, Tennessee last week. John Rich. John, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you, Doug.
It's good to see you again. And listen, thanks for your hospitality last week. It was great to meet you and your dad. What a great conversation we had.
Yeah, my dad's something else. He just turned 70, but he's been preaching since he was about 19. He preaches in prisons, did prison ministries pretty much his whole life, preached in the streets, third world countries, just all over the planet. And he's been a continuing inspiration for me to watch a guy like that who did not take the easy route. I mean, at all. I mean, my dad's the kind of charismatic man that if he wanted to have a big giant church and, make a bunch of money, I guess. I mean, we've always kind of frowned on that. He could have done that, but he decided to go where the people were that needed to hear that message the most.
And I'll say it, and I mean this from the heart. I've always taught this. That's where Jesus is. Jesus is there in the streets. He's, I couldn't really imagine Jesus in a mega church. I just can't do it. Can't wrap my head around that. But at any rate, that's just my opinion.
Well, he actually told us, don't do that.
Yeah.
He actually said, do not build temples in my name. Do not do that. So, I'm not here to cast any shade on anybody, but I will tell you just the way I was raised and what I believe is that is kind of what you just said. It says where 2 or 3 are gathered together, he's in the midst of you.
Amen.
That's all it really takes.
Right on.
Fireworks shows and guys that got a lot of private jets and big money and stuff, that's not really the point of preaching the scripture.
Amen. In today's world, John, we're surrounded by people who will look at any given number of things, a sign, they'll take things out of context. You and I have been victims of people, to a degree, slandering us for, they'll do a freeze frame of a picture where we're standing in front of something, a real life experience for me, standing in front of with General Flynn and this bottle of wine that I bet, and kind of a viral video that we had made, General Flynn and I was at Clay Clark's office standing in front of a diagram of his life where he had an eye in a diagram signifying in his mind the eye of God overlooking his life and the direction of his life. Now, it also happens to be the symbol of the Illuminati and a bunch of craziness that we have no association with at all. But yet people grabbed that image and threw it out there and made wild claims and accusations. I know you've seen the same thing as recently as last week when you and I spent time at your house and we posted some pictures, and some people went crazy and for no good reason. What do you make of that?
I mean, I've had a similar circumstance in my career. I've been making music now since I was right out of high school. So I come from Texas, Amarillo, Texas, my hometown. I've always been a University of Texas Longhorns football fan, or basketball or baseball or anything they're doing. Had I gone to college, Doug, which I didn't, I wanted to go to UT.
Yeah.
And so hook 'em horns, that's the symbol for that. You throw up the horn. Yep. And then in the music world, the big rock bands and stuff, they're like, let's rock and roll, let's get loud. And so that's kind of how I always associated what that was. But then over time, people would start making comments and going, you realize that's, that looks like the devil horns. Like that looks like what the bad guys do. And I went, that's not what I mean. And they go, yeah, but that's what it looks like. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing that. So now you get a big thumbs up. You might get a let's go or come on, everybody, something like that.
Right.
I stopped doing it. And I think it's important when you're doing something like that, that your intention behind it does not matter. That's one thing people have to remember. Your intentions do not matter. What matters is how it's taken by the other people that are viewing it. It's in the Bible, it's called being a stumbling block.
Right.
To your brothers and sisters, you're not supposed to be a stumbling block to them. So it doesn't mean, it's like when you say that person was offended by you, you go, well, I didn't mean to offend them. Well, does it matter that I meant to offend them or not? No, what matters is that they got offended. And then it's on me to go, well, do I care that they're offended or not? Well, yeah, absolutely. Of course I do. And so, you gotta change things, even though that's not your intent. You gotta go, man, I'm sorry. I did not mean it to mean that, and cut it out. And I'm sure there's other things I'm probably doing that I'll find out. They go, you know what that means, or what this is, or what that's rooted in. I try to study and learn as much as I can. And that was one of those things, though. You'll have trouble finding any kind of recent pictures of me doing that, because I know there's a group out there that takes it that way. And honestly, I can't blame them if that's been imprinted on their heart that, hey, that's what that means.
Right.
Even though it can mean several different things, why mix them up? Why be a stumbling block? Just cut it out and give them a thumbs up. And that's kind of where I am at now.
You bet. Yeah, it's the same thing with that symbol that I stood in front of with Flynn, the Illuminati eye that they thought that was. Clay Clark, Clay's a baby Christian. He's brand new to to Christianity. And when he heard that, he immediately erased that board. He said, well, that's not my intent. That was supposed to be the eye of God overlooking my life. We erased it. So to your point, I don't look, I meet those people with grace, and it's not what the intent was, but if you took it that way, then I want to tell you that it wasn't intended that way, and we'll move on.
Absolutely.
So John, I'm curious about, you and I having just met with you in your career. And by the way, congratulations on your latest song, Progress. I want to get to that in a minute. As your career progressed through its life, have you always been this strong of a patriot, and have you always been out there with it, or have you evolved into that place where you're now just, hey man, this is part of my calling in life. Music is one thing, but I also have a calling to draw attention to this republic and how we can save it.
Well, I grew up around very patriotic people, so I had the very distinct honor as a young guy, from about 20 to 25, 26, somewhere in there, being around my grandparents, my dad's parents, Granny Rich and Papa Rich, as we called them, and they're the World War II generation. So my granddaddy, Papa Rich, fought in World War II. He lied about his age, told him he was 18 when he was 17. He just wanted to go ahead and fight. They turned him into what they call a tunnel rat, which is a small frame guy who goes into a cave with a flamethrower and grenades. And his job was to flush the Japanese out the other side of the cave. Well, by the time World War II was over, he had sustained multiple Purple Hearts. He was hooked on morphine for 2 years when he came back home, became a farmer, weaned himself off the morphine. There was nobody to help those guys. They just showed up, and, the dreams every night, waking up screaming and sweating, and I mean, the whole thing, his whole life. But when you grow up around people like that, you have a very distinct understanding and appreciation for why you have what you have in this country. I think one issue that we have going on in 22 in this current age is there's a lot of people that have no touchstone back to a generation of people that their freedom and liberty were literally under threat. Literally. No figurative at all. Literally under threat. If the United States hadn't been able to beat back Japan and Germany and Italy and all those countries at the same time, can you imagine what the world would look like if we'd have lost World War II? Totally different planet right now. But we won World War II, and the only reason we did is because of men like that and women like my grandmother who were staying back at home and doing whatever they could do, dragging scrap metal in from the ditches and dragging it down to the court square so they could melt it down, and making uniforms, and you name it. Everybody was pulling in the same direction. So we've got this couple, 2 or 3 generations of Americans now that never met anybody like that. They never got to hear from people like that, understand that kind of a sacrifice. And I believe that's caused our complacency. I believe that's what's caused us to think, well, nothing can ever happen to America. We're America. Except now we're seeing America being dismantled piece by piece by piece. And even people that don't agree with my politics or my ideologies are seeing their country being dismantled. They don't like it either. So it's this giant wake-up call happening where they're going, hang on a minute, what is going on in my country right now? Because guess what? People that I totally disagree with, Doug, they have kids too. Their kids play baseball too. They have to put gas in their car too. They go buy groceries too. Okay? They have fentanyl in their zip codes too. We all have
Amen.
the same issues right now. And as bad as it is, as these issues are, it's interesting that it's almost like we're finding unity right now in this country because of the pain that we're all experiencing together.
John, I couldn't agree more. I've said it.
That's a way to look at it.
I agree, and I've said it in similar words. I believe America, when you look at it in general, and this might shock some, I really believe 80% of America tends towards the red, the Republican, the conservative side. By that, I mean, to your point, most Americans believe in God. Most Americans, believe it or not, still go to church. I know those numbers are declining, but we're still up there. We still believe in a good day's work for an honest wage. We believe in personal freedom and liberty. We want to make our own decisions for our own family. Most of us believe that government should be small. The people that believe, the commu-socialist view, as I call it, represents such a small minority of this population, but they have the media on their side. So therefore their voice is amplified, where the minority seems like it might be a majority, but it's not. And I think that's the reason we're going to see in November a seismic shift. I think, and although I don't hold Elon Musk up as any kind of a role model for conservative thought, I do like what he said a couple of months ago when he said, for the first time in my life, I'm going to vote Republican, because he doesn't like what he's seeing either.
Well, the only Americans that are for socialism or communism are Americans that never experienced socialism or communism. If you ever, I've got friends down in Miami, one of the greatest songwriters ever, a Cuban American. His dad came over. His dad was fighting the communists in Cuba, got imprisoned a few times. They snuck out, got to Miami. And this guy's now a multi-Grammy award-winning Latin songwriter producer. And when you sit with him, he says, the only people that like communism are people who've never lived in a communist country, because if you ever experience that, that is the last thing you ever want to live with or think about your generations of your family living under. So it's total ignorance on the part of any American that says they want socialism or communism, and a total lack of perspective and a lack of experience with the subject, living in it in real time. You got Brittany Griner right now, who's locked up in Russia for taking some CBD or whatever she took across into that country. And they're talking about locking her up for a decade. Well, that's what communists do. I mean, they don't have to give her probation. They can do whatever they want to do with Brittany Griner, and she was kneeling for the flag not too long before that, and really trashing our country in a lot of ways. So now she's experiencing how a communist country deals with a very small infraction like that. In this country, it wouldn't even be an infraction, probably, what she did. But over there, it's 10 years in prison. Well, welcome to communism. I mean, that's what it is. If she ever gets out of there, and I hope she does, and gets to come back to this country, I hope she tells a lot of people who were also trashing the flag and trashing freedom and trashing, a constitutional republic that we have, tell them what it's actually like being in a communist country for a while, and maybe change their mind. She could actually be a really strong advocate. And I really believe that, some of the most powerful voices that are probably yet to come forward are going to be people that were totally devoted to the other side of things until they actually got a taste of it and realized what it was all about. And that's many subjects that could be a part of. You're seeing it right now with kids that have transitioned at a young age, and then they get 3 or 4 years down the road and they wish they hadn't have done that. They wish they could go back and do it. Those videos are starting to come out now. I think as time goes forward, you're going to see more and more of that. And it's a painful thing to see. And again, I said, we're finding unity in the pain in this country right now. We're all starting to feel it at the same time. And that dissolves a lot of barriers. Moms and dads are still moms and dads. We still want to see our kid hit a home run, and if we remember that about each other, even though you totally disagree with them, you still have empathy for them because they want their kid to hit a home run too, just like I do. Both sitting in the same chairs, looking through the same chain link fence, watching our boys who are out there sweating and been practicing, trying to do something great in their young life. That will give you empathy and somewhat of a bond with people that honestly, there may be no other bond you have with them, but it humanizes them. One of the dangerous things happening now, Doug, is the dehumanization of your opponent.
Right. Right.
That is so dangerous. What's going on? What Biden said the other night in that speech. When you call somebody a fascist, what did America do last time we were faced with actual fascists? We killed them all.
Right.
We went after them.
Yeah, we beat them.
Beaches, we showed up in their backyards. We lost hundreds of thousands of our own people, and we killed every last one of them. And we shut them down is what we did. So when you call American citizens fascists,
Yeah.
well, how are they supposed to act any differently towards an American fascist as they would a German fascist or an Italian fascist or whoever? It's so dangerous,
Right.
so dangerous. And I hope that people do not take the bait when they hear that from either side. I hope
Amen.
that conservatives don't take the bait and get so worked up over that they go out here and do something stupid. And I hope that the left doesn't swallow that hook and go, yeah, they are fascist. The president said it.
Yeah.
No rules anymore. No rules anymore. I hope they don't do that either.
I
hope we can just stop at that statement.
So much for his campaign promise of unity there. All blown away in that speech. Hey, John, I know we've got a few minutes left here. A couple of more questions and some inquiries about what your life, your career. Now you're tier one, you're an A-lister, you're one of the hottest country music stars out there. What, and I, having been in Nashville just last week, I went to a place, I'll give it a shout out, the Local there in Nashville, owned by some patriots. In fact, the owner of the Local apparently during the shutdown, your mayor there in Nashville tried to shut Nashville down. And this guy, along with a few others, sued the city of Nashville to keep these places, these honky tonks open so that musicians, for the love of Pete, could make a living. Imagine that. Let's not shut down our economies. These people need to make a living. And he stood up for them at the Local, and they all to a number, every one of them told me, hey, make sure that you tell John we appreciate his voice. And they weren't talking about your singing voice, although that's awesome. They were talking about your stance for the Republic and for freedom.
That's nice to hear. Yeah. Yep. Our mayor in Nashville, if you want to know that dynamic just real quick, he said that if you're a restaurant that serves alcohol, you can stay open. But if you're a bar that serves food, you have to shut down.
Oh, God.
So we really just targeted all those places. And we lost all of our musicians. I will tell you, at my place, Redneck Riviera downtown, which thanks for popping in there, Doug.
Yeah, great place. Had a great, and thanks for the table. Appreciate it. Yeah.
At our place, when the mayor did that, we had 60, 70 employees at that point. We continued paying all of our employees for many, many, many months before PPP or anything else was even discussed. We kept paying our people. They never missed a paycheck. And so when everything finally opened back up, all of our people were still in Nashville, best bartenders. And I'm sure you had great service because we got the best people.
Awesome service.
They all came running back in the doors, and we lost nobody. So, time is a good, man, it's a good filter to run things through if you're patient enough, because you'll see who's who when enough time goes by.
John, your song Progress went straight to #1. You released it. I saw it on Truth Social and other places. Fantastic. Give me, how did you come about writing it, and what's behind that song? How did it come to you?
Well, it's somewhat of a funny story on the front end. I was at a Home Depot here in Nashville, going to buy some 2x4s and some plywood. We're working on a little project out in the
Yes,
country.
ladies and gentlemen, John Rich does not have people that go shop at Home Depot. Thank you. He does that himself.
I do all my stuff myself. So I'm in there and I'm looking at 2x4s and plywood. I looked at this price on a 2x4, and normally I would never even look at it, but I'd heard how high they had gotten. I looked at the end of this 2x4 and went, good Lord, this 2x4 is like $12. It should be $3.
Yeah.
$3.50. It's 12 something. And I went, well, there's progress for you. And then I go buy some Quickcrete. Same thing, no matter where you go. And then you look at the gas station, same thing. I went, man, we're just surrounded by progress, right? And so I sat down in my truck, and this little melody starts rolling through my head, stick your progress where the sun don't shine, which is probably the nicest most G-rated way to say, so it started rolling through my mind, and I pulled out my iPhone and I sang the chorus into my phone. And I called two of the greatest songwriters in Nashville, Jeffrey Steele and Vicki McGehee, who have both been Songwriters of the Year multiple times. Jeff's in the Hall of Fame, Songwriters Hall of Fame. Played them the chorus. They said, we need to write this immediately. So within about a week, we all got together and wrote this song, Progress. And to me, the impetus was, it was so painfully ironic that all the bad things happening in our country are being done under the banner of the word progress. And what's interesting about that word progress, it means to move forward or to go towards something, to move towards a destination. So in their minds, the wild-eyed leftists out here, it is progress to them. Now, where they're trying to take us, I don't want to go there. You know,
Right.
my vision of progress is leave me alone, let me work, let me fail, let me succeed, let me teach my kids how I want to. You know, leave me alone. Let me go be an American and do whatever I can do with my right to pursue happiness. Their version of progress is we got to progress towards a point where we got everybody in a chokehold all the time. So I sat down and wrote this song. It's a kind of a light feeling song, but every line smacks. I think my favorite line in that song says, they say, let go of Jesus and let government save, and you can have back your freedom if you do what we say.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So every line in the song is very important, and I think it just keeps hammering that nail straight down. I put it out only on True Social, only on Rumble the very first day, just to see what would happen. Because another line in the song says, they shut down our pipelines and they shut down our voices.
Yeah.
They shut down our voices. Well, who they I'm talking about, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, the big platforms. And I said, well, how hypocritical would it be of me to put out a song railing against these platforms, but use their platforms to go out here and promote the song? That's hypocritical. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I only went with Truth, only Rumble. Within 6 hours, Doug, the song was the #1 most downloaded song, not in just country, but all genres.
Yep.
And it sat at #1 for 12 days in a row. I think Beyonce was 2, Lizzo was 3, Billie Eilish was 4, and on down the line. I don't have a record deal or a publishing deal. This is literally just one guy coming out with a song. And to me, that proves you can beat the machine without bending the knee. And I hope people take that example. If you need to have thick skin, but it's time to have thick skin. Stand up. You say what you want to say. Yeah, people are going to hate what you have to say, but guess what? That's validation that you said it correctly, Doug. It's
Right on, John.
correctly when they hate what you have to say. If those people liked what I had to say, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I get it.
What I have to say if I said it correctly. So that's the story of the song. And anybody that supported it, thank you guys so much.
Oh my God. I love it. It just gives me a lot of joy, I must say, to know that there might have been somewhere in New York or LA record executives scratching their head and thinking to themselves, how in the heck does this guy in Nashville do this? What is going on? Tell the truth, folks. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That happened.
We're going to let the audience, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this great song. Here's the video, Progress, from John Rich. Take a look.
There's a hole in this country where its heart used to be. No glory is divided on fire in the street. They say building back better, make America great. If that's the way but the future of life, got to say, stick your progress where the sun don't shine. Keep your big mess away from me tonight. If you leave us alone, we'd all be just fine. Stick your progress where the sun don't shine. They invite the whole world to come live in our land. Leave our countrymen dying in Afghanistan. They say let go of Jesus, let government say. You can have back your freedoms if you do what we say. Stick your progress where the sun don't shine. Keep your big mess away from me and mine. If you leave us alone, we'll all be just fine. Stick your progress where the sun don't shine. Shut down our pipelines and they shut down our voices. They shut down our main streets and they shut down our choices. And it's all over, but it's all over now. 'Cause we figured it out. We ain't backing down. Stick your progress where the sun don't shine. Keep your big mess away from me tonight. If you leave us alone, we'll all be just fine. Stick your progress where the sun don't shine. Where the sun don't shine. Where the sun don't shine. Where the sun don't shine.
John, okay, that was the song Progress, ladies and gentlemen. John, that was fantastic. I love the song. Congratulations on all of its success. So glad to have met you last week, and thank you again for your hospitality. I look forward to seeing you again soon. What closing thoughts for your fans, for the folks out there in the audience, in the last minute or so that we have? What do you got to say?
I think, listen, you need to stand up. You need to take action, speak out. You need to run for local offices. If you see a problem out there and you don't like how it's going, make your voice known. And again, are people going to hate what you have to say? Yes, they are. But if you're a Christian and you go read what Jesus said in the New Testament, he said, if they persecuted me, what are they going to do to you? I mean, he was the Son of God himself and they crucified him. What are they going to do to us who we're not even a gnat flying around? Well, of course they're going to come after you. But he says also to rejoice when people come after you, because basically that means you're carrying out his will. We're not a part of the world. We are separate from the world. We live here, but we're not part of this mess that's going on. We're supposed to be the lights that are coming off. And I see more and more going off, by the way. And a last message to Christians out there. I believe that it's been many decades now that Christians have become weak-kneed, spineless, mealy-mouthed. They roll over. They allow things to go on in their churches. They allow things to go on even in their own families sometimes, where they will not push back. They will not use the scripture itself as the reason as to why they're pushing back. They just want to get along. Well, guess what? That's a good way to see Noah's flood all over again, or some version of it.
Right.
Remember this, Doug. God never brought wrath down on an empire because of the sins of the devil's kids. He only brought his wrath down because of the sins of his own kids. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And the verse that says, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not change. That means whatever he did back through the history that we have of him written down is the exact same way he's going to deal with it now and going forward. And we need to remember that. Christians, it's time for Christians to wake up and realize who they are in the whole scheme of this, who he is. Don't forget who he is, or he's going to have to remind us in a very strong way. I think we're getting really close to that. So I really urge Christians to get serious about their faith and their country and their family. And maybe we can get this thing back on track.
Well said, John, and well met. Hey, where can folks find you for tour dates and the song and everything else? Where can they find you?
You can follow me at John Rich. I'm on Truth Social. I'm on Twitter, of course, and other places. RedneckRiviera.com has all the Redneck Riviera products throughout the U.S. 10% goes to the Folds of Honor on every single thing that we sell. Our tithe, our 10%.
Yep.
We've now sent over $1 million back to Folds of Honor.
God bless you.
So
good work.
Go to that website and check it out. And man, guys, just stay strong. And it's fists up, but with a grin on your face. That's how
Amen, brother. John, I know you got to run. Thanks again for your time, and thanks for your friendship. I appreciate you.
Sure. Best to you.
God bless you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. I'll be right back with some other thoughts right after this.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Everybody, welcome to the set of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I am now less, and less is more. Since August 1st, I'm down 62 pounds, and now here we are well after Christmas, and I want to share this with you. I feel called to share it with you. I think that we all need to be the best version of ourselves if we're going to engage in the fight to save this republic from the grips of communism. And so I want to talk to you today about the right side of health. Send your name and ask for information about how I lost 62 pounds since August. Text your name to 913-428-0777. 913-428-0777. Or if you'd like, go to www.rightsidehealth.us. rightsidehealth.us. Both will get you to the place you need to be. Look at these before and after pictures that have been up there. Unbelievable. I had to get there before I got here. And so if you're faced with that kind of before situation, there is an after, and it's right there at the right side of health. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Cheers. Hi, everybody. Doug Billings here on the set of my show, The Right Side. I am standing shoulder to shoulder with Mike Lindell and his employees over at mypillow.com. Use the promo code Billings when you go over there to mypillow.com. Everything that you need. You already know about the sheets, the pillows, obviously the pillows, the slippers, the best slippers in the world, ladies and gentlemen. They even have dog beds and pet beds over there. I've got 2 of them for my service dog, Jet. Absolutely, I do. MyPillow.com. Stand shoulder to shoulder with me and Mike Lindell as we support his employees as he endeavors to become one of the refounders, if you will, one of the refounding fathers of our republic. It's the least we can do. MyPillow.com, promo code Billings. Please, ladies and gentlemen, MyPillow.com, promo code Billings. Believe it, for the republic. Cheers. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever heard of electromagnetic pulse, EMP for short? I've got a device here that I'm going to hook up to my car. I've got one that looks similar to it that I'm going to hook up to my breaker box in my house. EMP Shield, EMPshield.com. Go there and use promo code Doug. EMP pulse magnetic energy can come from the sun. It can happen in nature, but it also can happen from foreign nations who don't necessarily take too kindly to us. Can happen in nuclear blasts, things like that you've heard and seen in the movies. Now, I'm not saying a nuclear blast is going to happen, but this device, the EMP Shield, simple to install. Listen, if I can do it, and I'm no Einstein, you can do it. Hook it up to your car battery, hook it up to your breaker box in your home or your apartment, wherever. Make sure that you're protected in case of an electromagnetic pulse outbreak in this country or around the world. It will protect you. You want to be able to go from point A to point B. Get one today. EMPshield.com, promo code Doug. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings. I just really like John Rich. You're a sincere Christian man. Had a great conversation with him and his dad in Nashville last week. Just a great guy. I really do encourage you to go over, get that song, Progress. Buy it, download it, and it's just an incredible message, really, to all of us. And I just thoroughly loved him. I think he's a great guy, great Christian man, and God bless him for standing up to the commune socialists and what they're trying to do. Ladies and gentlemen, also, you know, I'm reminded that we all, in the midst of this nightmare that we're in, and we are in a nightmare. It's a nightmare that has been thrust upon us on purpose by the Communist Socialist Party. We, having been in a nightmare, you know, all of us have been in nightmares before, and we all know that we always wake up from them. That's the good news. We are waking up in massive numbers, multiple millions of people waking up to this. They're leaving the Communist Socialist Party. They're coming to our side. They're voting Republican and conservative for the first time in their life, and we will reclaim the Republic. We, again, I remind you, have 3 fronts in this battle that we have to address. We have to fix 2020. That's number 1. But we don't become paralyzed by fixing 2020. Fix 2020 or bust? No. That's a mantra of paralysis. We will fix 2020, but we're also going to engage in the second battlefront, and that is to fully engage in 2022, to fully engage at the local level, becoming poll watchers, paid election observers, committee men and women, canvassers, to be members of school boards, county commissions, etc., to get involved. That's fully engaging in 2022. And that's how we prevent the steal. And then finally, the third front, to plan for 2024, to plan for it. In 2022, in November, we're going to reclaim both houses of Congress. I really do believe it. In 2024, Trump runs again. And because of your determined patriotism, the hard work of getting involved at the local level, we will prevail. We're going to prevent them from cheating and stealing it. Mark my words. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. We are in this together. We're in it together. Let's meet in determined prayer and do the work of determined patriotism. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Everybody, welcome to the set of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I am now less, and less is more. Since August 1st, I'm down 62 pounds, and now here we are well after Christmas, and I want to share this with you. I feel called to share it with you. I think that we all need to be the best version of ourselves if we're going to engage in the fight to save this republic from the grips of communist socialism. And so I want to talk to you today about the right side of health. Send your name and ask for information about how I lost 62 pounds since August. Text your name to 913-428-0777. 913-428-0777. Or if you'd like, go to www.rightsidehealth.us. rightsidehealth.us. Both will get you to the place you need to be. Look at these before and after pictures that have been up there. Unbelievable. I had to get there and before I got here. And so if you're faced with that kind of before situation, there is an after, and it's right there at the right side of health. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Cheers. Hi, everybody. Doug Billings here on the set of my show, The Right Side. I am standing shoulder to shoulder with Mike Lindell and his employees over at mypillow.com. Use the promo code Billings when you go over there to mypillow.com. Everything that you need. You already know about the sheets, the pillows, obviously the pillows, the slippers, the best slippers in the world, ladies and gentlemen. They even have dog beds and pet beds over there. I've got 2 of them for my service dog, Jet. Absolutely, I do. MyPillow.com. Stand shoulder to shoulder with me and Mike Lindell as we support his employees as he endeavors to become one of the refounders, if you will, one of the refounding fathers of our republic. It's the least we can do. MyPillow.com, promo code Billings. Please, ladies and gentlemen, MyPillow.com, promo code Billings. Believe it, for the republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.